Oh, hello there. I was just reflecting upon myself, which a lot of us should be doing, especially when we contribute to a little website called Reddit. And on that site, there is a chapter. There is a chapter in the book of Reddit called Am I the Asshole? And in there, we reflect on ourselves, on our past behavior, and we go, hey, was I being kind of an asshole? Let's find out. On today's episode of Am I the Asshole? 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 Am I the As Story number 1, AITA for humiliating my friend for hitting on my cousin. Oh, pause. Sorry, I thought you were the one hitting on your cousin. No, your friend was hitting on your cousin. I, male 25, have been friends with my fiance Sophia, female 24, since we were 20. She's Ukrainian, and a few years back, she got really close to my younger second cousin, Alina, female 18. Alina is mixed Russian-American, and when they met at Thanksgiving, they clicked. They like cooking together, speaking the same language, and going to church sometimes. After Alina's mom passed away, she's been spending a lot more time with us. Her Russian side of the family doesn't live anywhere nearby, and there is not a big Slavic community where we live. So here's the situation. Last weekend, Sophia and Alina drove out to this little bakery a couple of hours away for some Borodinsky bread. I want to know what that is. That is a food of which I am unfamiliar. Therein, we are looking that up together. Oh, it's like brown bread. It's like you go to a restaurant and they got this brown bread, Borodinsky. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like this kind of bread, I think. While they were gone, I had some of my friends over to watch the game. When the girls came back, I introduced Alina to everyone, making a point to say she's my younger cousin. She said, hi, all normal. And then the storm outside picks up and we lose the sports channel. We all sat down for dinner and one of my friends, Matt, 27, makes this creepy comment directed at Alina, something along the lines of, forget the game, I could just watch her walk around all night. The whole table just went silent. Alina froze. She looked so uncomfortable and awkward. And like a minute ago, she was talking about being in college. I said, what the F did you just say? That's disgusting. She's 18. He said something like, that's legal. Why are you so worked up? I told him point blank, you're not welcome in my home anymore. Get out. I may have also muttered something about him being a creep, but honestly, at that point, I didn't care. I did also stand up and like wait for him to leave. Wow, good for you. You protected your cousin. Anybody who feels comfortable like making sexual comments to a relative of your, just being like so forward about that is so, yeah, they're probably not the best person to be around, I don't think. What a strange individual. Good on you for standing up for your cousin. Anyway, he left. The vibe recovered quickly. Everyone had a great time. A bit later, Matt puts on the chat that I publicly humiliated him for no reason and that I was an awful friend. Oh, you're an awful friend? You're an awful friend that's preventing you from objectifying his younger cousin? That makes you an awful friend who used this as an excuse to kick him out? It doesn't matter. Dude, if somebody feels like they need to find an excuse to kick you out, that means you've done other things. If they're using this as a scapegoat, as an excuse to kick you out, why do you think that is? Huh? Does that mean you've been behaving in a certain way in the past to where everybody thinks that you're a asshole? You know what I'm saying? I think so. He says I could have just said Alina's 18. I don't really think I overreacted. Alina looked super uncomfortable. That's enough of a cue. If somebody's looking, it'd be different if she was like playing into it, but even that is like a fake reality. That's not reality. She lost her mom recently and has been relying on us a lot. The last thing I want is her associating my house with some creepy older guy trying to hit on her. Sophia told me straight up I did the right thing and that if we hadn't kicked him out, the message to Alina would have been that it's okay for men to make her uncomfortable. Love that. Matt also said I was being overprotective and that plenty of guys would have hit on her before. What does that have to do with anything? It's not about that. It's like you are so unabashedly hitting on one person and saying you could watch her walk around all day. Yeah, I'm gonna look at her butt now for the rest of the night. Hey, guess what, younger cousin? I'm targeted on you now. I know, I'm a strange man. I'm older than you, and I'm friends with these people that you stay with, and I'm gonna say this thing that you're my target now. Just drool dripping from his fangs, freaking strange. There's Count Orlok in here, dude. We got freaking Count Orlok in the crowd, in the chat. Hey, real quick, if you're human like me, you get sick every once in a while, okay? A mysterious rash, a cough that won't go away, or maybe one of your arms just kind of fall off. I don't know. But at this fast-paced stage in my life, I can't afford to miss work. I really can't. So having easy access to doctors is incredibly important. Enter today's sponsor, ZocDoc. ZocDoc is this amazing free app and website where you can easily search and compare high-quality in-network doctors. We're talking dentists, eye doctors, skincare specialists, and providers for pretty much every specialty you can think of. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, who are located nearby, and who are highly rated by verified patients. I'm talking real people and real reviews, okay? Then you see their actual real-time appointment openings. You pick a time that works for your schedule and just click to instantly book it. Done! And these appointments happen fast, usually within 24 to 72 hours of booking. You might even score a same-day appointment. I have used ZocDoc a few times, by the way, and it's so easy, it's insane. So stop trying to tough out that mystery pain. Head over to ZocDoc.com/DanielThrasher+, or just click the link in the description, that helps me out a lot, and instantly book a top-rated doctor right now for free. Thanks again to ZocDoc for sponsoring the video. Now back to the story. Matt also said I was being overprotective and that plenty of guys would have hit on her before. To be fair, I didn't like the guy that much even before, but he's a part of my group, so I did have to invite them. I would rather not. AITA? No, I don't think so. I can see how saying all of this was a bit embarrassing for him, like unnecessarily so. Also, if another of my friends had said it, I may have been less harsh. I don't know. Yeah, dude, I mean, it's clear this guy needed a reality check of some kind. He needed to understand that he says things sometimes that make people uncomfortable because he's an asshole. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. Something has happened in the past that indicates that he is not fun to be around. And at some point, the dam is going to break. In an easy way to get that dam to break, he's now sexualizing your younger cousin in front of everybody, thinking that he can, do that. Like thinking that he can make a showcase of objectifying your relative. Gooberante. So let's see what the comments have to say. I think it's pretty straightforward here. Let's read on. NTA, even if Alina was older, it's an inappropriate comment to make about your family member. Y'all were not in a bar. You were in a family home. He's a creep and you made the right decision to kick him out. Alina is 18 and being protective of her is the right thing to do. Matt doesn't get to decide the appropriate level of protectiveness you have for your cousin. Your care for her warms my heart. It's true, like regardless of the age gap, it's still just bad. It doesn't matter. I mean, it kind of matters, but it doesn't, like the heart of the issue isn't just the age thing. I think it really is like, you're just being a freaking creep. I think generally speaking, being a creep towards a woman, in front of a group, like cornering somebody sexually like that in front of others or privately, well, it doesn't matter. It's just a weird thing. It's just a weird behavior that somebody has to tell you, hey, don't do that. Good on you. Good on you for defending your cousin. The real important bit is you notice Alina was uncomfortable and stood up for her. It is not relevant that she might get hit on in other situations. It is not overly relevant that she's family or her age. Both are somewhat relevant, of course, as reasons to be more protective than normal. But what I mean is what he said would be creepy to most people, even if they weren't your family or young. And again, the key bit is Alina felt creeped out. You did real well here, acted appropriately. Well done. Matt is a bloody creep. His comment was just hella gross. And I hope that he can change his behavior in the future. I hope he will take accountability and think about his actions and be like, wow, maybe I messed up there. Chances are low. but hey, what happens now? What happens next? Matt, if you're watching this, I hope you learn from your actions, man, because I think people can change. I do. I think people can change, and I hope that you see that you take this embarrassment for what it is. I hope it is a learning tool, so you stop that and you start seeing women as people. Huh? Imagine that for a second, huh? Imagine that. Oh, God. Very good. Next story. Am I the asshole for using my aunt's personal employee discount code to buy clothes? My aunt, female 42, works for a major clothing brand in a senior position. Employees get a personal discount code. Hers is usually 50 to 75% off. That's a lot of savings. Not gonna lie, that's a tempting amount of savings that she can use, and it varies based on the position. My aunt sent me the code saying, if you need anything, here's my employee code. Pause. So what we know now is that there's permission. We know that there is permission. Okay, permission has been established. I was excited because I love the brand and wanted to update my wardrobe, and money has been tight with school and all. I ended up buying a decent amount of clothes, probably more than I normally would if I didn't have the discount. When she found out how much I purchased, she was angry with me. Now she's making me feel bad for using it, like I took advantage of her, and I'm feeling guilty. She did send me the code voluntarily and didn't say there was a limit, but if it's her own corporate perk, maybe I crossed a line and she could get in trouble. Interesting. So AITA for using my aunt's personal corporate employee discount to stock up on clothes, or was it fair game since she gave me the code to use? I mean, she gave it to you, right? How much did you spend? I have a spoiler for you all. I have a spoiler right now. The spoiler is, I see right here that the conclusion is everyone sucks, which makes me think that this person spent a crap ton or something. It makes me think that there's more clues in the comments, so let's take a gander, shall we? Top comment here with 7,000 upvotes says, everyone sucks here. She should have told you to use it within reason. You should have used some common sense. The code is associated with her employment, and its use or abuse reflects on her and may cause her a problem. The reason companies monitor, limit, and eliminate these perks is because of abuse like your shopping spree. Ah! See, I've never worked in anything like retail before. I've only worked in like coffee shops, ice cream shops, stuff like that. And, even at an ice cream shop or a coffee shop, yeah, you get a free drink every shift or a free ice cream every shift, something like that. I worked at this ice cream shop called Leopold's Ice Cream in Savannah, Georgia. It's a very famous ice cream shop, one of the top 10 in the country. And they would call it a Fringle. It's like whatever you could fit in a single cup is your free single scoop ice cream. And people would just be mushing ice cream in there to really fill that little thing up in the single cup, dude. Oh my God, my Fringle would always be a peanut butter chippy. Dude, hey, listen, peanut butter flavored ice cream, peanut butter anything. I'm in, dude. I love peanut butter so much. Peanut butter smoothie, peanut butter milkshake. Oh, dude, I'm locked and loaded. Double dark chocolate plus peanut butter. I'm there. Weirdly though, I don't love Reese's Pieces. Why? Because the stuff that's inside of Reese's Pieces is not exactly peanut butter, is it? It's like a peanut butter chunky paste. It ain't peanut butter. Ironically, if I'm going the other direction, and I know this is going to sound crazy coming out of my mouth, okay, given the environment that we're in, I will say I've had Feastables peanut butter, Feastables chocolate with peanut butter in it. It's not bad. Not the best, not the worst. I'd reach for it. That's all I'm saying. I would reach for it once or twice. I need to move on here. What were we talking about? Oh yeah. Oh, what I meant to say by that is like, yeah, sure. If you're an employee, you get a free thing every shift. Blah blah blah. And people working in the vicinity, they get like 10% off, 20% off, whatever, stuff like that. That applies, right? Discounts applies. But 50 to 75%, I wonder how much money you spent. You must have spent a lot for her to be able to track that down. Let's see. We're having a little infighting here, right? This person said she should have told you to use it within reason. And then the reply there says, should have told you, like you're not grown enough to know when you shouldn't take advantage of something. And then the reply says, how could she know she was taking an advantage unless she was told there was a limit? I just don't see how Op could have known. I feel like there's a big difference in people's work experience here in the comments, and also with me, right? I'm reading this and I'm going, oh, I guess I could see how that's kind of a big deal, but it wouldn't occur to me that like, yeah, of course, the discount code is being tracked towards her, and of course, if it's taken advantage of, those perks go away. It's just not something. I've never worked in a corporate world, really, in a corporate structured environment, only like local business or something like that. So it wouldn't have crossed my mind, this kind of stuff. And so this person is in college, they're broke, they need new clothes, they're going to go on a little shopping spree and use the code. Like, I can't fully blame them, but I also don't know how much they spent, But a lot of the comments here say, you're the a-hole or everyone sucks here kind of a thing. This person here says, you're the a-hole slightly. I think it's probably commonly understood with something like this that you don't go hog wild. It sounds like you went hog wild. I got to know how much they spent. And what is hog wild? $300? If the purchase total was $300 after everything, 50% all in, then the bill was $600. So you took $300 worth of benefits. I don't know, man. If it's coming from a single purchase, what is a lot? Because if you're a broke college student, you're not spending $1,000 at a clothing store in one go, right? And this person over here says it's not commonly understood. How many people know someone with this type of discount? Probably the majority of people do not, and thus have zero knowledge of how it works. Then the reply here says most people who work in retail have some sort of discount code, and most of those state that if the code is abused, the person can be disciplined or fired. So yes, many people should know this. Aha! I see. The distinction is a lot of people have worked in retail. I, for one, have not. And some of the people here have not, and it seems like Op here has not. So they don't understand. Yes, it's common sense. If you think about it just a little bit more, I'm just overall confused, you know? But hey, lesson learned. If somebody gives you a discount code and it's a retail thing, maybe don't go nuts. Ask that person, what's a reasonable amount of money I'm allowed to spend right now? And then go from there. You need a little guidance, okay? Yeah, I guess it is common sense, but it ain't so common. I could totally see myself making the same mistake. Am I the... For how I handled this situation, my daughter, 24 female, is on antidepressants and lives at home rent-free while saving for her own place. There's a beefy sentence there. I, too, am on antidepressants, but it's not for that. It's actually for anxiety. SSRIs, baby. And hey, sidebar, you know, you can still be creative. You can still be a maniac and be on SSRIs. That's all right. Look at that. But too much SSRIs, and it will kind of limit your brain power. For me, personally, in my experience. That's just something to think about. All right? But hey, I'm on it, and I'm still an absolute buffoon. She keeps her pills in her bathroom with the lid loose because it's hard to open. Since she's the only one using it, it's never been a problem. Keeps her pills in the bathroom with the lid loose. Okay, I think I understand what's going on. My son, 23 male, and his girlfriend, 22 female, are temporarily staying with us until their condo is ready. Their bathroom sink downstairs is small with no counter space, and when the girlfriend wanted to dye her hair, I told her to use my daughter's bathroom as she has a double sink with countertops without checking with my daughter, who was home in her room. Why? She was right there. If I know anything about girls, is that they love a bathroom, okay? They love their own bathroom. That is one thing I know. I know that about myself, too. Not even gendered. I love my own bathroom. About an hour later, I overheard my son telling his girlfriend he didn't know how to break something to his sister. He finally told me his girlfriend had accidentally knocked over my daughter's pills, and some fell into the sink where she was dyeing her hair. Oh, God. I said I'd talk to my daughter, but my son insisted. I heard him enter her room with an attitude saying, "Don't start acting like an ass," but my girlfriend knocked your pills into the sink. Ugh, that sucks. Is it the end of the world? No. And I say that because there, you know, a lot of these pharmacies and stuff, she has some pills remaining. So if she has like at least a few days worth, it's just going to be really annoying because now she's going to have to call the doctor, and the doctor's going to have to refill the prescription and get an early order, you know, something like that. And that might be really tricky. And that just became a big old nuisance. And it was you, Op, who allowed for this to happen without even checking with your daughter first. So that sucks, doesn't it? But, you know, and going one day without taking an SSRI sometimes is like not the end of the world if you take it the next day, but more than 2 days and you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it. So hopefully they can refill that prescription quick. My daughter was furious, grabbed the remaining pills, and stormed off. My son blamed her for leaving the lid loose. When she asked why they were even in her bathroom, I explained, and she got angrier, saying they could have used theirs or mine. I told her I hadn't expected this and she needed to calm down. What a fun thing to say. She called my son and shut herself in her room. Yeah, well, I mean, your son does sound like he just came in there with an attitude and started, you know, hey, don't be a jerk about this, but we got rid of your pills that keep you happy. We got rid of your pills, huh? I urged my son and his girlfriend to apologize. Good. I like that move. That's a good move in this game, in this chessboard of life, wouldn't you say? Her, because she should have asked to move the pills, and him, because he escalated the situation. I think she could have also just, you know, it's a pill container with a lid on top. You grab the two of them, you pick them up, and you set them aside. You set them anywhere else, and you just take notice of that. Because you're gonna, you know, your hair is over a thing, and you're rinsing dye and all that stuff. How is that not common sense? Just take it and move it over there. How are you going to knock it over? He eventually cooled down and apologized, but his girlfriend refused. What a fun lady. I love it when people let their ego get in the way of relationships. I love that. My son then demanded my daughter apologize to his girlfriend. My daughter refused, saying she had nothing to be sorry for. The girlfriend chose to stay elsewhere until their condo was ready. Good. My daughter spoke with her psychiatrist and replaced her medication. Great. Good. I'm glad that was easy. I'm glad. My son still insists I should make my daughter apologize. I did tell my daughter she could have reacted more calmly, but she maintains that they should have asked her to move the pills or at least approached her without assuming she'd go crazy. Yeah, I think the way that he was like, don't start acting like an ass, but blank knocked your pills into the sink. Like him acting, him being like, all right, don't freak out about this because I know you're like that. That's not bueno, is it? She also points out she never said anything to the girlfriend, only her brother, and that I never should have let them use her bathroom in the first place. So, have I completely mishandled this? What I don't like is that something happened that rightly so would be frustrating, right? She's got pills down a sink and she's concerned that she's going to run out, and you told her to calm down. And you are letting people use her bathroom without her permission. If she's a whole ass 24 years old and she's living at home, and the fact that you're saying rent free while saving for her own place, it sounds like you're kind of holding that over her head a little bit. The fact that, and I say that because that's the opening sentence. That's the first sentence you wrote down, and probably it makes you feel entitled that you get to kind of shell out your daughter's bathroom, but you could have at least consulted, is what I'm saying. 24, she ain't a 17-year-old girl. She's got grown-up things. She's got a bathroom of her own. Don't pop that bubble unless you want her to be a little resentful. So, as far as you being an spoiler alert, Reddit seems to think so. However, I feel like, just generally speaking, a lot of tension. I feel like this was a series of unfortunate events. That series of events was started when you didn't consult your daughter to let them dye their hair in her bathroom. Anyway, let's see what the comments say. You are the a-hole. Your daughter is living there rent-free, but that doesn't mean she isn't allowed basic respect. You should have consulted with her before allowing the girlfriend to use what is normally her own bathroom. Even if you were going to pull the my house, my rules, you should have at least given her the opportunity to remove anything she didn't want to get damaged, because hair dye is messy AF. I think that might be a simple male brain thing. I think this guy, having not experienced dyeing his own hair, presumably, thought it wouldn't be much at all. But his ignorance was his downfall, okay? You should also be standing up for your daughter. She literally did nothing wrong. Her brother came in and immediately accused her before delivering the news with no apology. You told your daughter she should have acted more calmly? Are you serious? She was the victim of 2 rounds of negligence and verbally attacked for it. I'm starting to see why she's on antidepressants. Ooh! Dang! This part right here, the fact that the son gets off scot-free and the daughter gets told she's not in the right, like what the actual F? This is so messy. This is so, ugh. Yeah, I hope she's on good SSRIs. Good Lord. Yep, you did mishandle this. You told your son's girlfriend to use your daughter's bathroom without asking your daughter because she might spill something in your bathroom. She spilled her shit anyway. Not only spilled, but ruined vital medication without any apologies to your daughter. And your son thinks his sister needs to apologize? I think your daughter reacted perfectly, and you screwed up massively for even considering making her apologize or being upset at her tone. You're the a-hole. Yeah, wow. What a mess of a situation. Your daughter's totally right here. Because God forbid she was, it was like her last pills and she wouldn't have been able to get them due to a holiday or something. That really make a pretty rough week. Don't start acting like an ass, but girlfriend knocked your pills into the sink. The bolded part is the most a-hole-ish behavior in the whole story. That is not how you apologize. It's not even remotely close to an apology. That is how you actively and intentionally rub salt in a wound. It is totally indefensible. For the record, the second most a-hole-ish thing in the story is your son demanding his sister apologize to him when she was wronged and reacted reasonably to his verbal jabs afterwards. He sounds entitled to the extreme and very good at deflecting blame. Yeah, I think the son is the biggest asshole here, especially because you were the one, Op was the one suggesting that they would go in and explain the situation to the daughter. And then so I was like, no, Dad, I got this. And he goes in there and is just a dickhead to her. Pretty tough. And then this Redditor here replied, you missed the third most a-hole-ish thing. I urged my son and his girlfriend to apologize, but his girlfriend refused. She refused to apologize. If you destroy someone else's property, you apologize. It doesn't matter if it's an accident. She should have gone from the bathroom to the daughter's room and apologized. I like to know why she thinks she doesn't owe the daughter an apology. That's a really good question. And it makes sense why the son and his girlfriend are together, because they're both kind of jerks, They're both a little bit of an assholes. It's just very childish. These are a bunch of children bobbling about. Hey folks, you know what? Let's pop over to eye bleach. Oh my god, there's a cat in a backpack. This is a cat that has snuck himself into a backpack. Look at those eyes. Not a single thought in those eyes. With that said, this next story is going to make a very interesting juxtaposition. AITA for yelling at a kid not to touch my cat. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that you did a good thing by not tell that kid to not touch your cat. I think I told this story before, but I was once at an airport and I saw a cute little boy with curly red hair touching this woman's dog's leash, just like yanking her leash. He didn't know her, she didn't know him, but he was just messing with that dog's leash while it was in her hand, kind of tugging at the dog. And I was looking at this lady like, how are you not going bananas right now? How are you not going down? I'd be like, hey, get away. I'd be looking at the dad like, you need to stop him or I will. My cat Patches just turned 14 recently and was diagnosed with asthma earlier this year. I take her to the vet every few months for an antibiotic shot that seems to help her breathe better and avoid making her have to go through being on an inhaler. Anyway, the last time I took her to the vet, I had her out of the carrier and in my arms. The staff was fine with this since there was no one else in the room. If a dog came in, I would put her back in and zip her up of the carrier. So I'm waiting for the vet to come out to get us when all of a sudden the door swings open. It's a mom and kid who is about 5. They don't have a pet with them, so I'm guessing they're there to pick something up. Patches is startled, but doesn't go back to the carrier, so I just continue holding her and petting her. Pause. If a cat is alarmed and you're holding them, they will take their claws and scratch into your belly to leave. That happens to me all the time. High anxiety situation, that's all I'm saying here. While the mom is at the counter talking to the receptionist, the kid looks my way and immediately shouts, "Kitty," and starts to run over to me. This makes Patches jump back in her carrier because she doesn't like small children because of some bad experiences when she was younger. I feel like every cat has an experience like that. I'm starting to zip up the carrier when the kid tries to pet her. Okay, pause. So the cat is in the carrier. You're zipping up. I have this exact carrier. You zip up the top. It's like a little U shape. So that must mean that the cat is in the carrier. You're starting to zip it up, and the kid is trying to reach through the U shape of the carrier to get under the lid and touch the cat. Without thinking, I yell out, "Don't touch her!" The kid backs up and starts crying because I yelled, but I'm more focused on zipping my cat in. Okay. Yeah, kid has never encountered a boundary like that before. At this point, the mom turns around and stomps over to me, fuming. How could I yell at her kid and make her cry? It's just a cat. She's only a child. I should just let her pet the cat. I tell the mom that her kid has no right to touch my cat, shouldn't be running over to people's pets and expecting to pet them without permission, because that's just asking to get a scratch or a bite mark, and she needs to teach her kid how to approach animals the right way, etc. Agree. Completely agree there. You know, I think instead of yelling, "Don't touch her," I think it just came out. I think it blurted out of you. Don't touch her. Hey, I feel like the way that verbiage would come out of me, I don't think it'd be any better, but what I would say is like, no, thanks, sorry, no. My cat's not friendly. We can't do that here. She's sick. But even that is like, this is me trying to mitigate something that sounds confrontational to a child. But that's not really, the kid has to learn a consequence somewhere. And you saying "don't touch her" is an express line in the sand. It is a direct rule that is telling the kid what is appropriate and what's not appropriate. The mom doesn't say anything back and just takes her crying kid and packs up her stuff and gives me a major stink face when leaving. I got through my appointment without any other interruptions, and no one in reception really have any comments on it. I later told a friend about it and was told I was too harsh on the kid and shouldn't have made them cry. Well, it's not like you meant to make the kid cry. I don't know. Did you slap the kid's arm? Is there any of that? No, don't touch her. I'm trying to figure it. I don't know. It's different. If the cat was in, I'm really thinking about this. Sorry, I'm locked in. I have 2 boys, right? I have 2 cats. And they're honestly relatively friendly, but I have had experiences where some of them get spooked. They're on my chest and boom, it hurts real bad. Okay, you're obviously well within your rights to create a boundary. Because the thing here is it's so true. You're just asking to get scratched or a bite mark. There's this big thing of kids going around pulling tails. Kids love doing that when they're young and they don't understand the consequences of that because they think of an animal like a stuffed animal. Because they'll pull their stuffed animals off the shelf itself by the tail or something, like a Pikachu plushie. I had a Pikachu plushie that was like this big, and I would use its tail to pull. But I knew not to pull an animal's tail. I knew not to treat it like that. I think probably because at some point my mom or dad, when I was like 3, I don't know, told me not to do that. I had a consequence when I was young enough to not remember any of this ever happening to me in my life, and I know better than to touch a complete stranger's animal. And you always go, is he friendly? Or can I pet? You ask those questions to strangers and animals at any age because that's just what you do. It's polite, you know? I later told a friend about it and was told I was too harsh on the kid and shouldn't have made them cry, that I could have approached it more delicately. I don't think I did anything wrong because I was protecting my cat, because a lot of kids don't know how to handle and treat animals in my experience. I don't know. Am I the a-hole here? Personally, I'm going to say no, especially because you were at the vet. You're at the vet. You're not at a park, you know, where your cat is on a leash and is clearly in an unusual circumstance where the cat is like, wow, that's a really well-trained, well-adjusted cat. You're not at a cat convention, in which case you should still ask, may I pet? Is it okay if I touch? You know, things like that. Because every animal is different. Every animal has a different personality. But you're at the vet where animals are sick. You know, they go to get help. This is on the mom. This is all on the mom. Keep an eye on your freaking kid, dude. And if you hear somebody go, kitty, and running, here's the thing. I think the mom reacted the way that they did. Just knee-jerk reaction. They hear their kid cry. They turn around. They see this cat with a man or a woman or whatever. They see the kid crying and they go, ah! And they're angry that somebody else made their kid cry because they're embarrassed that they weren't watching their child. I don't know. All I'm saying is this lady, she needs to have her kid on a leash. Do I think you were justified in yelling at the kid? Yes. Do I think you need to just leave your cat in the carrier while waiting at the vet where presumably many different types of people and animals may walk through the door? Also, yes. You know what? Yeah, it's a pretty good angle. Pretty good angle there. And then the top reply to that is, this is it. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that is true. I think that's certainly the path to the least amount of issues, is to keep your animal in its carrier. Speaking of cats, I see over here in r/cats, what does this howling mean? I bet I know exactly what the howl sounds like. I'm going to predict it right now. Howl! Like that. Let's hear it. Oh! Yeah, dude. I know that howl so well. He's in pain or he's sick, but if your cat does this all the time, it's probably just his personality. Mine usually vomits after making that sound. Maybe he's sick? Oh. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking here. If your cat hasn't been neutered or is old enough to have reached sexual maturity, his cry is very likely a mating call. That's a pretty thick howl. Aw, poor kitty. People are saying it's sick. I wouldn't have thought that. Anyway, way too many oversensitive moms in here imagining someone daring to yell at their perfect little angel. Kids need to be taught lessons, and mom wasn't doing her job in TA. What they're not considering is that it doesn't matter how perfect their little angel is, an animal will still react defensively if it feels threatened. That mom would have been doing the yelling if the kid got scratched. I've worked at a vet clinic. Okay, we have somebody who's had this experience. I worked at a vet clinic and saw the situation happen a lot. Once a kid got hurt and the mother was livid because all she did was pet it after the owner said no because the poor little thing was sick and scared. Of course. You're at the vet, dude. If an owner tells you no, don't pet my animal, what? God, some people shouldn't be parents. I swear. Idiot. I'm sorry. I gotta say, people like that are just freaking daffodils, dude. There's daffodils floating around here pretending to be people. An animal will always act like an animal. If they're hurt or scared, they will defend themselves. Isn't that obvious? Don't pet animals at the vet unless you ask, are they friendly? Like, you got a happy dog and they're wagging his tail. I don't know. And even then, you gotta ask, because tail wags can mean different things to different people, to different, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, oh God, I love animals. If you're gonna go somewhere sensitive, like a hospital or a vet clinic, or somewhere that requires more care and attention, a museum, put your kid on a freaking leash or don't bring them at all. All right? Okay, love you, bye. Outro. Pause, hold on, look at this little cat. This is Elisa. Look at Elisa go. Oh my God, dude, look at that fur. Oh, it's in a box. Okay, now you're ready for an outro.